Hello everyone, it's Annabella again. Today's reading is a purchase request for Red Velvet Joy and BTOB Sungjae. If you enjoy this reading, please remember to leave a comment to thank the purchaser for her willingness to buy and share this reading publicly. This reading will contain 3 parts: their full relationship energy, her feelings, and his feelings towards this relationship. I am a lazy person, so I know that my weekly reading is always short since I only do one spread, but feel free to reach out to me if you would like to have a more in-depth reading like this one. Of course, however, celebrity reading is meant for entertainment only. Take everything with a grain of salt and use your logical sense to define what information resonates. Without further ado, let's get started. The first spread is, of course, their mutual energy. The first card we have here is the Ace of Swords. This relates to the time they were a couple on We Got Married a while back. This card feels like it represents their initial agreement to come together and have fun on the show. I don't know much about them personally, so I'm relying on the cards to tell me a story as we go. Each card gives me a little more insight into their energy and dynamic. With the Ace of Swords, it looks like they had a clear purpose when they worked together. They needed to act professionally and maintain good terms for the show. But this is just a starting point. We're only at the first card. Let's move on to the next card and see where the story goes. The second card here is the Ten of Swords. Now, you can see how we jump from the Ace of Swords straight to the Ten of Swords. This clearly reflects the fact that the show ended several years ago, and with the Ten of Swords showing up, it's clear that this particular swords energy, or this phase of their relationship, has already come to an end. It gives me the feeling that they're probably not in contact much anymore, which is reinforced by the symbolism of the Ten of Swords marking a definitive ending. But if you look at the background of the Ten of Swords, there's a sunrise. The sunrise is important because it represents new horizon, new beginnings, and whatever has come after for them individually. So this card isn't just about the ending, it's also about the start of something new. In this context, it represents the closure they had and the fresh paths they've been on since. Again, with the Eight of Swords here, like I mentioned earlier, I believe they probably aren't talking much these days. The Ten of Swords really emphasizes a block in their energy, not necessarily just about communication, but overall contact. It feels like there's a sort of restriction or distance between them now. Of course, this was a relationship that existed a while ago, and they've likely moved on to focus on other things in their lives that don't involve each other. That doesn't mean they couldn't still be friends, but it might be the kind of friendship where you don't see or talk to each other often. You know the way some friends stay in your life but aren't as present as others? Even so, the cards strongly suggest some sort of blockage or limitation in their current connection. Even though these 3 initial swords cards suggest their relationship feels distant now, I do get the sense that when they were together, it was a short but passionate and fun time. The Eight of Wands here really highlights that energy. Quick, spontaneous, and full of activity. I didn't watch the show myself, so I'm not sure if they went on vacations together or had any big moments, but the energy from this card tells me that their connection was strong and exciting while it lasted. It feels like they genuinely enjoyed their time together, but because it's the Eight of Wands, it also indicates that this phase was brief. It wasn't something that lasted a long time, but it left an impression of energy and excitement. Page of Wands. I feel like these 2 Wands cards are definitely connected, which is interesting because I felt the same way about the 3 Swords cards earlier. They all seem tied to each other. Now, with the Page of Wands, it feels like this past relationship was more like a connection between 2 kids. If there was passion, it was probably more like puppy love, innocent and lighthearted. I don't sense anything intense or dramatic here. It feels like they were both pretty logical about their feelings, knowing they could have fun together, but also keeping things realistic. To me, their energy feels more like close friends who enjoy each other's company. The passion was there, but it wasn't deep enough to truly grow into something more significant. The Page of Wands is youthful energy. It's adventurous and ready for something new, but it also tends to stay in that young forever phase. That's how I see their dynamic. It was fun and exciting, but it stayed in one place and didn't really have the potential to grow further. That's probably why it's where it is now. Now, let's take a look at Joy's feelings. Depending on how the cards line up, we will see what they are trying to disclose. Sometimes it can be her feelings towards him or regarding the general relationship. For her feelings, the first card we have is the Eight of Cups. This card is pretty straightforward. With its imagery of someone walking away from the cups, it tells me that at some point, likely after the show ended, she decided that the connection they had was good, but it wasn't able to grow into something more. It feels like she came to a point where she felt it was time to move on, whether that meant finding the right person for her, exploring her own emotion, or just focusing on herself. The Eight of Cups is all about walking away and seeking something more fulfilling, something that aligns with what you truly need. So this card makes it clear that she chose to step away and focus on finding her own path. That's her first card. Let's see what the next one reveals. I feel like the next four cards actually give us more details about the Eight of Cups. Starting with the Devil, this card shows there was some kind of chain or attachment between her and him. It doesn't necessarily mean emotional dependency, but there's definitely a strong connection from her side. It feels like she may have been more tied to this relationship in some way. There's also the possibility that her attachment to him could have been linked to her career, as the connection between them may have played a role in her professional life, as they are a couple on a relationship show. Let's keep going to see what the other cards reveal. The Star. I feel like the Star really aligns with the feeling I had about how the relationship was tied to her career. The Star, to me, represents a celebrity, someone famous. Well, it does have other definitions. I'm leaning towards the celebrity meaning in this case because it resonates so much with her image and career. It feels like her focus was on maintaining or enhancing her public image, her career, and that might explain why the connection we saw in The Devil feels suppressed. Because the Star is taking over, she had to prioritize her career, and that might have been the driving force behind her decision to decide what type of connection or bond she allows herself to have with him. I still think it's pretty crazy how many major arcana cards are showing up to her spread already. To say her energy towards him isn't strong would definitely be an understatement because major arcana's cards always bring strong, significant energy. Now, with the strength card showing up, it's interesting because on one hand, you can see it as someone trying to take control of the lion, but in a way, they're having fun together. The sky is bright, the lion is happy, and so is she. This feels like it resonates with the Wand's energy from their mutual spread, where they share happy moments together. It seems like she had the opportunity to feel a little freer when she was with him, even though the Star energy might have pressured her or kept her focused on her career. Still, the inner strength from strength shows that there was a powerful connection, even if it's not a romantic one. The last card for her is the Tower, and of course, it's another major arcana. For major arcana really shows that she had strong emotions or feelings toward him, but just like the Ten of Swords, the Tower signifies an ending. No matter how intense her feelings were, the relationship ultimately came to an end. We saw that with her first card, the Eight of Cups, where she had to walk away to focus on other things that were more important at the time. The Tower reflects a major shift caused by external forces like her career, his career, and the fact that their feelings were not as strong. Only their connection were strong, if you understand what I mean. Ultimately, I think this relationship was already over for her, and the most they are now are just friends to her. The last spread here, We will take a look at Sungjae's feelings. What are his feelings towards Joy? What are his feelings towards this relationship? The first card for him is the Five of Pentacles, and to be honest, it's a bit confusing. The Five of Pentacles often represents feeling of being left out in the cold, feeling abandoned, or even feeling like strangers to one another. It can also indicate financial struggles or feelings isolated. Well, that's all true. I'm not sure why he would feel this way in connection to her or their relationship, especially since they were on a show together. But it makes me wonder if there were other events during their time together that made him feel like nothing would work out, or maybe there were financial or material issues involved. The Five of Pentacles does have a link to money and resources, so it's possible there were tensions around that during their time on the show. Sometimes, even when it's about feelings, business aspect like money or fair treatment can affect emotion. Maybe there was something behind the scenes, like him not feeling fairly treated in terms of finances or the way things were handled during filming, which could have hurt his feelings. So I'm curious to see how this connects to the rest of the thread. Next, we have the Seven of Wands, and it seems like he's in a position where he has to fight for something. It's not necessarily about fighting against her, but there's definitely an energy of him needing to defend himself or his position. The Seven of Wands often has to do with standing your ground, and since wands represent work and actions, it could be related to struggles with the company, the higher ups, or even the show's director, perhaps. The entertainment industry, especially in K-pop, isn't always fair, and that's not unique to just one industry. It happens across the board. So I can imagine he was fighting off some kind of pressure, whether it was related to the show or something else going on behind the scenes. It's still a bit strange what we're seeing in his cards because they aren't really showing much about his feelings towards her directly. The Hierophant doesn't typically speak to emotions, it's more about tradition, structure, and rules. For him, this might be about the professional side of their connection, working together on the show, staying professional, and following the expectations of being on TV. The Hierophant can also represent talking to higher ups or managements, which bring me back to the idea that he could have been dealing with some kind of unfair treatment, especially in the context of their industry. No matter if it's about money, the show, the company, the director, or anything work related, at the end of the day, it all will affect his feelings towards her. But with the Three of Swords here, it's clear that whatever happened, it broke his heart. I feel like they had a good relationship. There was a connection there, and the Five of Pentacles shows that she was there with him during these hard times. But something about the situation, whether it was the work, external issues, or something else money related, left him feeling heartbroken or saddened by it. This may not have been a romantic relationship, but regardless, it still seems painful. Maybe he wanted to develop a deeper connection, but outside forces, like what I mentioned with the tower in her spread, block those emotions from growing. The final card for him is the King of Cups, and I feel like this is the card that clearly tells me how he feels towards her. The King of Cups represents someone with a lot of emotions. He's caring, kind, understanding, and very supportive. He was likely someone who wanted to take care of her during their time together on the show, showing her kindness and listening to her. He genuinely wanted to make her feel comfortable and supported, but of course, we have to look at the whole spread. Not just this one card. Other cards show there were struggles and issues that impacted their connection. The King of Cups shows he treated her well, but it's also a reminder that he treats everyone well. It's important to recognize that while the King of Cups is devoted and caring, he can also be someone who is universally kind, not just specifically to one person. So while he probably wanted to be a good guy and show his best side on the show, it doesn't necessarily mean there was something deeper. In the end, their relationship didn't progress beyond friendship, likely due to external factors or circumstances, but the connection they had was genuine, even if it was just friendship. And that's all I was able to pick up from these cards. I hope you enjoy the reading. Remember, the tarot reading is based on energy, and as the interpreter of these energies, I may not be 100% accurate. Please remember to be logical, have an open mind, and keep yourself grounded with the information. Also, I want to give one more big thank to the purchaser for her generosity. If you're interested in buying a reading from me, please check out my description for my contact information or visit my Etsy store, annabellatarot.etsy.com. I also accept payment and donations via PayPal. For pricing, please see my channel's description. Feel free to leave your requests in the comments, but I will prioritize purchase readings and most popular requests that fit my interest. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day and see you next time.